Hey Shopify fans, it's time for an AI showdown. I'm pitting Grok from XAI, V0 from Vercel, and GPT from OpenAI against each other to build a modern Shopify collection page with all the bells and whistles. So think search, filters, and a sleek design. Which AI will come out on top? Watch as I demo each tool and break down the winner for your e-commerce store. I tried not to code in this video, so anyone at any technical level can experiment with this on their own. And as always, I've added a link to the code in the description so you can add this section to your store. My name is Nick, and I'm the guy that gives you free Shopify code, tips, and tutorials every week. If you have a video you'd like to see, then let me know in the comments. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. I appreciate you. Let's get started. Okay, so I've gone into my duplicated theme here, and I'm looking at the collections page, and this is really the section we're trying to replace. Not that there's anything wrong with this. It does have some filter capabilities, but I just think that this may be a good section that somebody may be trying to replace and make it look a little better, or just less, out of the box of the Dawn theme or the Horizon theme, or whichever one you're using. So the three LLMs we're going to be using is Grok, V0, and ChatGPT, and we're going to see which one will give us the best section, both on design and in terms of functionality. So I've created a prompt here. I think we'll do okay. It says, I run a Shopify e-commerce store and would like to add dynamic and useful collection section. This section should be built for Shopify themes in Liquid and should include useful features like search and filtering. It should also have the best modern design possible. Will you create this section file for me? So let's see what we get. I'm also going to paste this into the other LLM so we don't have to wait as long. So let's try this. All right, it looks like the Grok file is done, if I'm not mistaken. Although I don't see any schemas. Oh, schema's at the top. Okay, so all right, well, let's give this a go. I'm going to copy this, come back into my theme here, and I'm going to edit this code. So I'm going to add this as 3 separate files, and then we should be able to add them in the theme editor and take a look at what we give. Hopefully it works and there's no errors, but that's not always the case. So this one is from Grok, so I'm going to call it Grok Collection. I will paste this all in there, and then here, this name, actually this name is what I want to change. I'm going to rename this to Grok Collection so that I can keep these straight in my head. And it looks like there's already an error. All right, so that's not a great start, but looks like it screwed up the schema tags. All right, let's see how the other ones are doing. Looks like that one's still working, and it looks like GPT is done. So let's copy this code. I'm gonna come back. Let's create another section. I'm gonna call this GPT collection. Copy and paste and save. Okay, cool, no errors there. And it looks like V0 is now done, so I'll copy this. And real quick, before I move on, I'm going to change the schema so I can keep this name. New section, and this is V0. And the presets, I'm going to change that as well. All right. Okay, cool. So if I come back here, I'm going to refresh and hopefully we can add these and see what they look like. So what I will do is I will currently hide this product grid. That's the existing one. And I guess we will start out with the, what did Grok first. So let's do Grok collection. And okay, so this is the preview of what it looks like. Doesn't look great. I mean, it looks okay, but obviously it's not showing these images like we would like to. I'm also just going to add these ones here as well so we can kind of toggle. So V0. Okay, so that one actually works in terms of the images. Looks like the spacing is a little bit off, and I don't know what. Looks like the naming of the. Oh, this is like all the collections. Okay, so that's not exactly right either. Maybe I should have included in my prompt what this should have been more. Okay. And the GPT looks pretty whack. Okay, so here's like a quick little snapshot, right? We can see what we've gotten. So the Grok collection, it's probably the best styled, but it obviously, I'm wondering if we click in, no, it doesn't even have, so none of these, I'm not very impressed with the customizations in the schema. Well, V0 actually does a pretty good job, like, yeah. So they let you toggle this. You can actually change the number of columns. Oh, okay, so that's pretty cool. I do like that. That's actually a lot better. It was on 4 before. So if I was to use this one, well, really, if I'm going to use any of them, I need to change the collection that it's using, because this is a collections page, which means, well, let's see. So I'm going to unblock this one and we can take, so this is what the old one looked like. I don't know why it's kind of styled whack right now, but okay, so it should just be displaying the products of this collection. And I believe it's just, yeah, because it's displaying like a default collection, but these ones are not configured correctly. They're displaying like the list of all the collections. So we want this to be like, if I go to the hydrogen collection, it should display the hydrogen products, but right now it's just going to display all of the different collections. So I don't know what is going on. The GPT one, what am I missing here? There's no customizations, and it just, I mean, it looks terrible. I don't know what they were doing. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate that one. That one looks terrible. Now, if I look at these two, now here's another question though. Do the search and filters actually work, right? So let's save this and take a look. Alrighty, so here they are on full desktop. Yeah, this one, I mean, it has a nice little hover effect, but the width is a little weird. So what if I type, okay, so the searching does work. What if I do, I mean, I don't know how, I'd have to look at the code to see how this filter is working, but it doesn't look very good to me at all. So, I mean, yeah, I'd have to look at the code and see what this is filtering on, if it's on tags or what. Let's try this one. Okay, so that works. Is this going to be, again, I don't know how this is. That one did change something feature. This is updating. So, and what if I click on it? Where does it go? Nowhere. Okay. What if I click on one of these? Nowhere. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to choose this one because it definitely looks the best just out of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and tweak it and see, what it takes to get this working. So if I come back here, I believe, so that's the V0. This is why I usually, if you watch my other videos, I usually use V0 because I've just found it to be the best. And also, if you've watched my other videos, typically I do this in steps where I look at the HTML and CSS and JavaScript vanilla before I convert it to Shopify code, but because then I can see more of a preview. But this was kind of a fun comparison. So I'm going to go ahead and delete Grok, and V0 is our winner. A lot more customizations, and actually that's what kind of sold me on it because originally there was a lot more and it looked spacing weird, but it turns out it's just because it was trying to display more than one. So this needs to update. The main thing is I need to figure out what this is working on, like how this is being filtered. And then secondly, I need to make sure that this displays the collection from the URL and not just all the collections, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and save this, and then I'm going to start digging in the code. So as I looked at the code here, there's a few things I'm going to point out that I was wondering about. There's this search and the filtering. So really there's some JavaScript going on where we actually go through, and that's where it's making the updates kind of as I expected. But what's happening is, if I can find it, collection cards, these represent all the cards. And then what it's doing is it loops through and it has some data set values on it. And then it goes through and does this case statement. So when it's clicked, it sorts it based on this data. And if we look at the collection cards, the actual HTML for it, here's that data. So the collection title, the handle, and the product count. So this is a really common way to kind of store data on that element that you're going to access via JavaScript, is you can add it to this here. So, all right, that works. But what I really need to do is to make sure that it's not displaying all the collections, it's displaying the collection from the URL. So rather than going and fix this myself, I'm going to try and prompt this AI to fix it for me. So I'm going to say, this looks great and works functionally well. However, I want this to work for a product, a collection, specific collection URL. For example, mystore.com/collections/hydrogen. It should only show the products from that collection. Can you fix this? And let's see what it gives us. Okay, finally that finished loading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to add it to actually a new section file just so that we can compare them like side by side. So I'm going to add this. I'm going to call it V02 collection, and it's going to be almost the exact same thing. So I will come here and then presets again. Change this. So if I save that, all right, now I will come back to my theme editor here, refresh so that it has the new section in it. And then I will come here and I'm going to search V02. Okay, well, this is more in line with what we wanted. It looks like it changed a few things, but overall actually looks pretty decent. I mean, except for the button being like hidden. But okay, let's save this for now. Hold on, I'm going to change this though. I like it with 3 columns. I feel like, yeah, that's about the right size. And of course, I really should have checked this beforehand, but I want to check it on mobile. So you can't. I'm not too opinionated on mobile, but I do like it when it takes less space. So like Here, it's 2 by 2, and you can adjust, I think, yeah, right here. So actually I could change this if I want, so never mind. That's really cool that it gives this customization out of the box, because it does look bad, obviously, if you do too many like this on mobile, like that's too small, but it takes up less real estate when you do 2, so I'm okay with that. All right, let's save this, take a look at it on the full desktop and see what we get. All right, so again, here's the old one, and here's the new one. I don't really like this. I don't know why it added this. Oh, this is the banner. So I think what it's trying to do is, it's kind of like whatever this is, it's including it. So if I guess I could remove that. Otherwise, I would probably just rather delete this code. Like, I don't know why it needs to display that. Okay, so if I click on it, does it actually work? Okay, it does. So it is functional. It is navigating and doing what it's supposed to. Does the quick add actually work? Because I would be surprised. Okay, no, it did not work. Well, I can try refreshing, I guess. Yeah, no, it didn't work. Okay, so the add to cart button does not work. So there's 2 ways to go about this. If it was me, because I am familiar with programming, I would go in and I would just rig this button to actually work. Otherwise, you could just go in and you can delete. That is probably like the easier way to do it. So let me see if this works. Yeah, okay, so that is still working. And if I sort by price low to high, does that actually work? It isn't low to high, okay. Let's go high to low, okay. So it does actually work pretty well. So I'm impressed that that even works. In stock, they're probably all in stock, but okay. So now it's decision time, really, where we decide, do we want this or do we not? I guess if the picture actually was formatted correctly, then it would look good. So what I'm going to do is, I think just for the sake of brevity, I'm going to go ahead and hide this quick add button, but just because that would require a little bit more work to get that functional. So what I'll do is I'll come back to this new section, and then I'll look for quick add, hit Command F. Some people have asked how you get this search bar in the code editor. So just hit Command F on a Mac, or probably Control F on Windows. I don't really know. And so here's the quick add functionality. You can see that it's supposed to, yeah, it's not even making an API call, so it doesn't really do anything. But what I will do is I will go to the next. Where's quick add? All right, here's the actual button. Oh, and there's a setting. God, I need to look at this more closely. Okay, cool. So if I come back here, enable search, yes, enable sorting filtering. Show product type. What does that look like? Snowboard. Interesting. I'm going to hide that. All right, that solves my problem right there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now let's save and then refresh here, take a quick look. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm going to hide this other section now because the second one did not work out as I had hoped. So I'm going to save this, and I'm also going to hide this now, right? Because this should be like the one thing. So if I do this, looks like there needs to be a space there. So I'm going to come back here, and this is where it's displaying the number of products, right? So, all right, it looks like up here, this is probably where this is being displayed. Yeah, so it says, okay, yeah, so I just need to add a space. I don't know if the space is going to work. I might have to do the weird symbol. Let's see. Yeah, it didn't work. Oh, no, it did work. Okay, a couple of refreshes. All right, so that's better. That's what I want. I'm not crazy about the image thing, that, like it's too small. Oops, didn't mean to do that. It's too small, so I'm going to inspect. There's probably like 2 things I could do. I could either like increase the height of this element, or I could change the object fit. So like if I go, and we should look at this on like this. Okay, so that looks better already. I think I'll do object fit contain, and then on mobile, yeah, it just looks a lot better that way. Yeah, and I might even switch this to be 1 by 1 on mobile. So I'm going to come back here. Sorry, I'm going to come back to my code, and I'm going to search for object fit. Again, sorry, I know some of you don't code, so this might be a little confusing. I tried to not code as much as I can in this video, but it's definitely worth learning how to use this debugger tools, even if you're not super familiar with coding, because you can see I can toggle styles pretty easily like this. I can make a video about that if you're interested, so let me know in the comments. But again, come back to the code, and I'm looking at object fit, and I need to do object fit contain. So if I save that, and if I come back here, and now it looks a lot better, and I'm pretty happy with this. It has everything that I wanted. Yeah, and the search works well, the sorting works. Okay, so this has been creating a new collections page using AI. I hope that this has been helpful, and it was a pretty cool showdown between Grok V0 and GPT. We have a winner, it's V0, so I feel a little more justified in why I use them more, but it's always good to try out the new options. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have something you'd like to see me build using AI, but I will leave the code for this in the description, so you can add this to your store if you'd like, and I will see you next time. Take care.